Good morning, this is Andrew from My Investors Place. We are a social network for investors to network and to discuss current events, trading ideas, investing ideas. And what I'd like to do this morning is discuss, that really has come up a lot of times when I'm speaking to people, really, what's new? I mean, what's happening really in the markets? Is this something unique or is this just a typical event? There are always cycles in the economic landscape. There's periods of optimism, stock market rallies, as well as periods as we're in right now, or facing right now, and anything can happen, that banks fail, stock markets fall, panic, fear becomes the norm. And the question is, or always has been, throughout history, who's the lender of last resort? And today, it seems like the Treasury Secretary, Mr. Paulson, and Mr. Bernanke, together putting together a rescue package for the financial system, brought down by the falling home prices, defaults on subprime mortgages. All of this really due to one common cause, or one historic common cause, and that's cheap money. I'll say from a historical perspective, my opinion, that the world is not going to end, and this will too come to an end one day. I don't know when, really no one knows when. There's so many other examples that have happened historically. Earlier this year in my blog, Capital Investor 1836, I discussed about the similarities to the Panic of 1907, and you can go to my blog. It's again Capital Investor 1836 at blogspot.com, and it talks about what happened in 1907, which really, it's just in simple words. You had, actually it was a group trying to corner the market, and there was a panic. It led to a run on the banks and the trusts, and it affected the whole confidence in the whole financial situation at that time, and confidence basically evaporated. And that time, as in now, the Treasury threw millions of dollars into the banking system, and there was a hero of the time. It was J.P. Morgan, and he was a banking magnate. He was the undisputed king of the New York financial markets, and you can say, for lack of a better word, he saved the day. And once depositors saw that their money was being insured, the panic eased, and that's really where the basically the Federal Reserve came about and established the Federal Reserve System. And at that time, the Fed also became the lender of last resort for the financial community. Another example in history is the Great Depression. Interesting fact, kind of scary fact, similar to what's happening today. I don't know the exact number, but 1,000 American homeowners a day were losing their houses to the banks. The President Roosevelt at the time in Congress initiated a government agency called the Homeowners Loan Corporation. And what they did was, in order to prevent foreclosures on such an enormous scale and to mitigate them, they started buying mortgages from banks. And pretty similar to what happened over this weekend, where $700 billion bailout is being discussed. The federal agency back in the Depression times, they were buying mortgages, offering them at lower fixed rates, 15 years, and for 3 years this homeowner loan corp existed and accepted mortgages, and they were completely inundated with requests, and more than 1 million homeowners actually were refinanced or bailed out through this organization. And just to understand the severity, it was like 1 out of every 10 households was affected by this. There's always going to be crises. Another crisis that happened was the S&L failures back in the 80s, the mid-80s, late 80s, and almost half of the 3,000 some odd savings and loans closed in the States, and it left the Fed with tens of billions of dollars of bad loans. And the Resolution Trust was created to liquidate those loans and liquidate the real estate. And to the chagrin of the, let's say, the taxpayers at the time, that this $124 billion bailout was paid by the taxpayers. But on the other hand of this, fortunes were absolutely made, people buying shopping centers, just all kinds of, just money was made by buying cheap. But going back with all the problems that we're having right now, I mean, you have to really think, who's going to end up paying for this mess? I mean, again, it's going to be two issues. Either the taxpayer or the feds are going to print money. But regardless, there's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunities. Again, like I started out this quick video, I said that this isn't going to be forever. I also, there's an adage on Wall Street that the street has a short memory, and this crisis will end. I don't know how long it'll take. No one really knows how long it'll take. No one knows if the action that the Feds put into place last week will put a floor on the market. But the basis of life will go on, the U.S. will go on, and the real fact is there'll be tremendous opportunities in the future. This is Andrew Abraham from MyInvestorsPlace.com. I would hope you join us. We are a social network for investors. We have some interesting blogs. You can post your blog. You can discuss. Thank you very much. Have a great day.